Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Surprise! It's Wednesday and I'm here. I hope you guys are doing awesome. I know I never stream on Wednesdays anymore, but I figured why not? I was feeling like it. So I'm here. I'm trying to find my shoes. So I'm here to stream some Stardew tonight. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, guys. Halfway through. But yeah, I also have the lovely Momo here with me. We're gonna play some Stardew. So just chill, hang out, enjoy, and thank you for being here. Let's see. Let's grab Momo. Oh, hi Momo, we're live. Let's see. Gotta make sure everyone can hear the Momo. Let's see. Say something again? Oh yeah, there we go. Oh boy. Sus title? I know, right? You love it. Turtle's like sus title. Thank you for the lurk, Firestorm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 6! I'm here, it's okay. Yay, 6 is here to protect. Thank you, 6. Alright, I'm gonna host, and we're going to play on Hack's Farm. Let's do Hack's Farm. Yeah. Let's see, which one? I'm trying to remember, yes. I was like, I'm looking at myself in reverse, so yeah. It's starting to fade already, but I like it actually when it's this color. Yeah, I like it when it's the lighter color. I was like, which farm is it? And I was like, oh yeah, it's the one in the dress. Because I think we were all wearing dresses, I think.
Where were you?
I think so. Is the audio doing weird stuff for anyone? Ooh, I hope not. Oh, look. Is it my audio or Momo's audio or... Here, let's try this one. Or the game audio. Let me know.
Let me know if you want me to check stream. So static.
Let's see. Properties. Hold on. Discord. It was grabbing. It was grabbing the wrong Discord, I think. It's still gonna grab the wrong Discord. There we go. Okay, that should be better. She sounds like dubstep. Okay, say something now, Momo.
You're special.
Okay, she should sound better now. Hi, Michigan.
Yeah, at least I get a kiss.
Let's see, okay. Chatbot should be good. Let's make sure the game is good. The game should be good. I have to like relink in OBS the properties to each sound every time I start up stream.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird because I when I used to just say play the sound for my entire desktop, I didn't have that issue. But now that I'm playing different soundtracks and choosing which ones are on, I have to relink them every time.
Fucking
yeah. Yeah, and I did it before stream, but for some reason it didn't take.
Oh, sucks even more like you.
Yeah.
I was prepared.
I was prepared. Why is there 99 bunnies? Oh, never mind. 99 pieces of wood. I thought it was 99 bunnies because I was hovering over the bunnies for a minute and I was like, why is there 99 bunnies sitting on the floor? As soon as I get out of bed, it's gonna pick them up. And I'm like, wait, no.
99 bunnies fear the floor. 99 bunnies
I feel like this is the wrong corner for my face in this game because of the health bars. Not that it matters really, though, to be honest. Oh well, I'll still put it up there. But yeah, hopefully it sounds fixed for everyone. And...
Nope, I'm still a piece of garbage. No, I'm kidding.
What? I hope not.
I'm kidding.
I'm still carrying wood above my head.
The soundbite just plopped into my head.
I don't remember what I'm doing here or what.
Let's see. Are you already in the game?
Yeah.
Your big screen, and I need an invite.
I shouldn't be big screen, but
I'm sorry. I'm tired. You are not big screen.
I was like, I shouldn't be big screen.
No,
so yeah,
I was looking at the door.
I'm just gonna say, I think you could just join, but I could be wrong on that too.
I tried. Okay. It didn't let me.
I'll have to give you the code then.
That I do know. That was correct in my test phase.
Well, Venomoth's appeared.
Slap my face. I'm not awake enough for this.
Alright, so we're gonna go here. Oh, wrong thing. Pick me. So I can look at the code real quick. Whiskey. And...
Venomoth. Where's the last one that was already? Oh, it's probably different.
There we go. See if it'll work that way.
Thank you.
That's easy. I don't have to show the code that way. I just literally hit invite friend.
Smart.
Exclamation fish poke catch? Oh, you're fishing for a moth?
This is the Hex farm. I should have started the hack thingy first.
Oh. You can exit out, do it again. I don't mind. Now that I know I can send it real easy.
Cool. I forgot. I was like, all right, this is that.
Yeah.
What was it?
I have wine. What was what? Vortex. I have wine. I have barbecue potato chips. And I have sour Haribos. I'm prepared. Congrats, Firestorm. You caught Venomoth. I feel like I have too many moving parts going on here.
Was this one the limited mods or what was it?
I think we were doing limited, but I don't really care. We just like don't want to like break the whole game. Ah! Thank you, Bio. Thank you for the 34 months. Thank you. I am not a smelly cat.
Smelly cat, smelly cat. What are they feeding you?
There you go. Hype. Hype is so cool down, Michigan. You try again now. But yeah. Go ahead and...
I have many things activated.
Because I think mainly what we were doing was like using unlimited money.
Okay.
Because I got the money already.
CJB Cheats.
And walking fast.
But not the item spawner.
Okay. Yeah, we were trying not to do the item spawner.
Okay, then I'll disable that.
I will say Rain broke the rule a few times.
Rain, how dare.
She's the worst. I tried really to like set a set of rules for the game. I'm like, okay, this is it. These are the rules. This is what's happening. We'll have a special event each stream where I unlock certain abilities. And then she cheats and it's like all out the window. It's like, if you cheat, then we all should be able to cheat.
I forgot what how half of these were.
Aren't you playing the new Stardew? What do you mean?
This is 1.6.
This is the new one. It has the waterfalls and everything. Now, if you're talking about the new game, what is it called? Mysteria. What is that game called? The new one that just came out? Mama?
I don't know. 1.6?
The one Rain's playing and Rose is playing.
Oh, the one with
That's
the
probably... Yeah, the one with the magic and stuff like that. The reason I'm not playing that one is because it's not multiplayer.
Right.
Mine of Mordor? I don't think that's what it's called. I don't think that's what it's called. That is not the new Stardew. Nice try.
Okay, so Mona, the one I need is the cheats menu, the SMAPI.
Yes.
That's the only two, right?
Yeah, and then I used automatic gates because I can. Let's see. Let me type in chat star.
That's in CJB, right? That's in...
Yeah. If you grab that link I just posted in stream, that document tells you all kinds of stuff in it.
AutoGate. Oh, I have it. No, I already have all that. I have all the app. All the mods. I'm just disabling the ones that I'm not allowed to use. So.
Which ones turn on? Yeah. The two CJB ones and the auto gates is what I, or automatic gates is what I turn on.
I'm just disabling the rest so I don't fuck with the game, like, because I'm not that good in Stardew. What is normal Stardew and what is not.
Level 1. I could one-on-one cat now. I'm not sure what level I am now. Does it tell me? 5. There you go. It does tell you. I mean, to be fair, I don't type in chat much.
That's true. She only does the Poke Catch.
Yep. Too busy.
Oh,
You're a 3. Nice. Michigan's a 3.
Ow. Michigan. You should be higher.
I know. He's supposed to be the hype man.
I'm hyping for no reason.
Thanks for the hype, Momo.
You're welcome.
Then...
I don't know what game that is.
Jump. So we have, it looks like, one of each animal, which is good. We have a goat. Oh, I should put a goat milk in there. We have goat, sheep, pigs. We got like at least 2 of each, actually.
Fields of Mystria.
Yes, Fields of Mystria. That's corn level. That's probably true, Michigan. My fingers are trying to play like I was playing on my laptop the last few days. Yeah, because I didn't have a mouse. I just had a trackpad.
Yeah.
And so I found out, yeah, you definitely can't fish with that. So that kind of was lame. It's just broken. Like, there's no adjustment level. You know, on the mouse, you can, like, barely click and it'll just go up just a little bit, or you can kind of hold click and it'll go up a lot. On the trackpad, you just barely click and it goes all the way up. And you're like, no. It just doesn't work. You need a mouse to play.
Don't you have a trackpad on your laptop?
Or whatever you call it, the square that you...
trackpad.
Yeah. The normal laptop thingamajiggy. Yeah. Have you tried getting good? I mean, I was prepared today. I brought my mouse, but then I ended up working on a puzzle instead of playing Stardew. So I think I was having Stardew withdrawals, and that's why I'm here now playing Stardew because I was like, I want to play Stardew.
There we are. Wait, no, this was the. Wait. I think this was the unlimited hacks one. Or not? Sure.
Well, the one we were playing is not supposed to have any hacks. The girls one. No, the girls farm that we were playing was supposed to be vanilla. Not this one. This one everybody's on.
I have a mini shipping bin. That's so cute.
Oh, hold on to that and hold on to those. I wonder what I was about to do. Oh, she's working on my house.
With this one, we did the tree spawn. On the
what else could she possibly expand on this thing? It must be like the winery or something. Or why did I keep all those mushrooms? I don't know.
This is definitely the unlimited one because I have 30 pizzas. Oh wait, no, this was unlimited money, so I bought them. No, I get it. Yeah, no, this is okay.
I don't know. I'll put those 3 in there.
I know what to do. And we do have all the iridium.
Bio wants to play Stardew, right, Bio? That's what you said? I heard you saying. Leave Robin alone. She's busy at work.
Oh, the thing. Wait, why is there a trailer?
It's because we're just one of the house designs. There's a trailer now. That's pretty cool. I think that's where Jay Slider lives.
Oh, you have lavender? Don't die.
How much you want to bet Lady Rain is napping? Oh, there's honey.
What's going on here? Just 2 girls playing some dew.
Star of Dew. That's what's going on. Oh, I forgot to go.
Okay, my doors are not automated at all. Why is there a cat in my bed?
I need to bring Caroline a pumpkin. Uh-oh, she found us. She found us. She found us.
Mono bed. Good morning, precious.
Oh, the kitty. Well, yes. Not a bad idea. Straw chew, pal.
Level 3 combat.
You leveled up. Level 1. Congrats, Tank. You're level 1.
Now remember,
welcome, Lady Rain.
Limited hacks.
To be honest, I'm not even pulling up modded.
Oh. Wow. Rain's gonna be
not updated.
You're packing.
Hello,
probably.
Stranger in my bed. Oh, bookseller.
Yeah, there's a stranger danger in your bed.
You're telling me I'm gonna be slow. I don't want to be slow. Forgot about that.
I'm gonna constantly drink coffee.
I don't want to do that. It goes right through.
Momo has blueberries. No, it goes right through you in the game. Good morning, Cat. I came by to ask you a favor since you're such a kind neighbor. You see, I'm trying to train my goats to say hello, but they simply won't pay attention to me unless I have their favorite treat, cave carrots. Will you bring me some cave carrots? Swing by my house between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Oh, be that specific now. Gotta go find some cave carrots.
That'll be easy.
I received a garden pot from Evelyn.
See if there's any in my fridge. That is fish. That does not have any cave carrots. Definitely not cave
Let me
carrots.
check for you as well.
Oh, there's 17 cave carrots in there. Yeah, okay, we're done. So if you need a cave carrot, they're in my fridge.
Yeah.
But yeah. What you sticking your tongue out about?
I have so much in my inventory. I have no clue what I was about to do in this game.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Zigzagoon appeared. Oh my gosh, Michigan, did you predict that? Like, totally throws up the emotes for the Zigzagoon, and then that's the Pokemon that appears.
That's funny.
It's the other color variant, but yeah. But still. Cheers.
Oh, hey, I screamed.
You did scream. What was I about to go do? Oh, I was gonna look for a pumpkin real quick and give it to...
You were about
Caroline.
to go doo-doo. No, okay.
I need a pumpkin for Caroline.
At least I didn't miss Halloween.
Oh.
No?
The
Okay.
bookseller's in town, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, I need to go see the bookseller too. So bookseller, Caroline, and Marnie. Yeah, all that's not happening today. Take a little break. Aw, thanks for the lurk, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna take a chance that everybody's at the bar later. Go see the bookseller. Actually, the bookseller's up here, isn't she?
Did we finish the community yet? Probably not.
I have no idea.
Buy books. I want them all. All the books, please.
Hello.
Which is the one I'm not supposed to buy? You know, the price catalog, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go read them first because my inventory is full.
Go learn them all. No. Not giving my books to Momo.
Oh, sorry, I stepped too close. I like being close to you, Mom.
I'm active. I'm not lurking, I'm active. You were lurking in my channel when I broke my game. It was crashing and lagging like crazy. I was! I didn't even get to talk to you. I was like, lurk, lurk, lurk.
Why?
And I was like, oh, he's busy.
Why do some of them have a thumbs up?
Oh, because you've already read them.
Oh.
So you only gain a small amount of XP from it.
Stealing the horse.
She stole the horse. You thief! It's okay. Honestly, I think we're both fast mode, so it doesn't really matter. It's just funny.
I don't know how to see the...
Yeah. You just lurked. Oh,
what is
I
needed
leveled.
for the community center. Oh, there we go.
Yes, level 1.
Oh, we need crocus and a snow jam. That's the last thing?
No.
Wait, no, it's not. Never mind.
We have one thing.
Salmon berries.
That's me.
Ancient doll.
I never talk. Why do you never talk? Do you not have a mic?
Maybe they're shy.
Maybe. Let's see. I don't think I have anything he would even want. We can see how he feels about bug stuff. Yeah, he hates bug guts. I would too.
I did not want to do that.
I should turn my cam on too, but I just like to focus on my game and my stream. You're supposed to talk to chat and interact with chat. I mean, I get no cam. You could use like a VTuber if you wanted.
We all got the ziggy zig zoom.
Mm.
Ticket! There's a ticket! If you didn't get your ticket yet, get your ticket. Biome balance or Gus Famous's omelet.
Hi chat when chat chats.
He needs 2 dozen eggs or...
Okay, nobody's here yet. It's too early.
Angler. Oh, I need an angler to help reduce the numbers of river fish.
Because it's cave carrot.
Can do the fishing.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure
Marnie
comes
but
here.
I don't know how many we have.
Yeah,
I don't
would do the
think-
fishing.
I don't think Caroline does though.
There you go.
Yeah. I can knock out 20 real fucking quick.
Alright, which one's Caroline's house again?
She's Pierre's wife.
Okay, because I always forget.
Ooh, I got a tree. Orange tree.
Nope, never mind. There she is. Or is that Penny? Penny. There's Caroline. Hold up, let me give you this before you disappear. Thanks. And then if I go in here, I could probably just wait for Marnie. You know Marnie's gonna be in here talking to the mayor. Felix! Falls from the ceiling. I have arrived. Cubone crackling as I stand. What? Falls from chair. Oh no, don't fall from chair! It's hot in here.
You're hot in here.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, this was not the play where I have Sebastian almost. Starting all over again.
I just cheated and picked Elliot for all of them. No, you did one time. I mean, I did fall from my chair one time. But the chair sabotaged me.
Really?
Alright, fish is done.
Only to lag and sit upside down. I mean, I kind of lagged and sat up. Let's see.
Dear brain.
This is fine.
There's my precious boy. I've seen this so many times already.
Puddles.
Not sour enough. They really aren't, but I love the flavor. I just love Haribo's in general.
Haribo.
So I don't mind that they're not extremely sour. Atomic sour powder? That's gonna like melt your tongue. go.
Ungrateful bitch. Just gave him a berry and lack.
I can't believe Marty's not here with the mayor. Maybe they don't come this time of day.
I don't know.
Or on Mondays. Probably
No,
hiding in the
probably sleep
bushes.
together on Mondays.
They're hiding in the bushes. So all you guys with almost any candy, if you eat it out of the container, your tongue will get raw. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Yeah.
That's what I have right now with the sunflower seeds. Because they're salted.
Oh yeah, I get a ticket too. He says it's 10 p.m. I'm not allowed in the house.
Oh, that's rude.
Inventory
Why can't I ever remember what Elliot's favorite dish is? Probably because he doesn't
don't
talk to
really
me.
like him.
He doesn't talk to me. That's the problem.
Because he's a writer and he's too stuck up for anyone else. But himself.
How are you doing, Felix? I hope you're doing well. So yeah, they must be hanging out at her house tonight because I don't see either one of them. Oh, possum.
A possum?
I don't
Look at
remember.
her. You already have someone in your bed, huh, Rain?
Yup, be Sam.
I didn't do anything.
Me neither.
I didn't do it.
Ich bin unschuld.
I didn't do it. Let's see. Okay, so we'll go find Marnie tomorrow. Give her the cave carrot for the goats. Gun show! Alright. I promise they're no bigger than last time. There's nothing there. No muscles. Just extra cushion. Yeah. Extra cushion from all the snacks. Check. I don't think my arms are huge though, like either way.
You want to wrestle, Mono?
Yeah. You'll probably win. I will win.
Something happened overnight.
Black.
Wrong windstorm.
It's just time.
Does that mean the raccoons?
Maybe.
Oh, I got cheese press and sprinklers.
What you having there?
Sam? Sam.
What is Sam doing?
Farm computer?
Yeah. Take a little snippy of this guy.
Yep, it's the raccoons.
Now I'm gonna drop it over into our little chat over here.
I gave them the hardwood to do the thing.
There, have that. He's a little broken.
I need more popcorn. Ooh, yeah, get more popcorn.
I wanted to make popcorn and then I saw it was expired.
No.
It's fine. I don't really want to eat the microwave stuff anymore because it's really bad for you.
Wait. She finished.
I don't think it was the raccoons. I thought we already had them.
I just said I did the hardwood.
Oh. Okay.
Since all of us already have seen
A wild dust stalks appeared.
I figured I'd just give it to him and yeah. What do we do? Oh wait, no, that's the thing.
Joffrey!
Okay, catch.
Oh.
Mm.
I have a fancy with them and the kids.
Doritos, Cool Ranch, and Cheers. Nice. Thank you, Travis. I have wine, Haribo's.
Turtle soup.
You have turtle soup?
I just licked turtle, so yeah.
Oh, and barbecued potato chips. Kettle cooked. I can now craft a farm computer and poppers. Pepper poppers. Okay, cave carrots it is. Well, let's not forget our mission here. For once. I love turtles. What is your favorite cocktail? My favorite cocktail? I guess a traditional cocktail would be, I don't know. I like amaretto sours. If you're talking about cocktails, but like one of my favorite drinks is just a frozen margarita.
I've never had that before. It sounds good.
Oh, you brought the cave carrot. Thank you so much, Miss Cat. Why did she throw it on the floor? This looks great. I almost want to eat it myself. Almost. I could have brought you one. I hope I wasn't too much trouble. I really do appreciate it. Momo trying to get in the bedroom. Does that help?
Thank you.
Can I open the door for other people? I didn't know he could do that.
I guess you did. Or
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we can open the...
You can actually go in there.
So we can open the door for other people that haven't become that friendship level yet. Oh.
Nice.
Good to know, good to know. Take notes, guys, take notes. When you can't get in Marnie's room to get the shorts, you on your way to get the shorts too.
Yep.
She's like, how come underwear raider? Yes. The mayor's underwear, he asked us to retrieve them because he didn't know where they are, but
Oh,
they're in
yeah.
Marnie's bedroom.
And there's a new ticket as well at the mayor.
Hmm?
I just don't know where the mayor is though. He ain't here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know either.
My favorite cocktail is a White Russian, but I am a whiskey drinker. For my Irish whiskey is Jameson. For my Scotch
Oh, you've
is
been
John
here.
Walker.
Oh, okay.
Black for my Canadian Crown Royal, and for my American is Jack Daniels. You definitely like your whiskey. White Russians are good though.
He's in the supermarket or in the thingy, Mono.
Hmm?
The mayor is in the, or Lewis is in the.
Mm.
God damn it! Where you get the seeds.
I'm good. I just gotta turn in a ticket. I already had his shorts and already did that part.
Ah, exercising can be fun. So can sitting on the couch.
So can sitting on the couch.
So it's sitting on the couch. Yeah.
Exercise is fun. So is sitting on the couch. Yes, it is.
You know,
What?
the combination of Jack Daniels and Doritos Cool Ranch does not really appeal to me. But it doesn't make very much sense in my brain.
You know what I heard? Do you know Bounties?
Crown Royal Green Apple is tasty though. Oh, green apple is tasty. I have had that.
Bounty? If you mix Malibu.
Cat, I
with
already
a
rated the
chocolate milk,
underwear
you get a
drawer.
drinkable Bounty bar.
No, Bakers.
Interesting.
Of course I did. Just don't tell Elliot, because, you know, he might find that kind of odd that I'm, you know, carrying around other people's underwear.
It's fine. Just the mayor's underwear.
Right? Let's see. Oh, dang. I didn't realize I had that many hearts with him. I guess I gotta do something to unlock the scenes.
I
Like,
really
probably
do think this is the
go into his
unlimited
houses?
hacks one. I'm not sure though,
Mhm.
because I have some things like enabled that.
We did like the tree event. We did some events on this one. Question, did you do the true anime style wearing underwear on your head? I mean, I guess technically you do, because your character can run around with any object above its head, so... You know. I saw Rain running around with the underwear above her head. Not on her head, but above her head.
No, not me.
Oh, Momo then. Never mind.
Yeah, I already did it.
Words.
So.
You came in after me, right?
But I already had it apparently because they weren't there.
Oh, right.
Oh, oh, there's a blackberry. Go this way and that way. Do some really quick foraging. Here's your berry, my dear good sir. Ooh, found some coal. Dug up some coal. Straight out of the ground. Why is that tree there? Trees grow everywhere.
Just to drive you crazy, that's why.
It was. Driving me crazy. It's annoying. More coal. Apparently all the wiggle spots are coal. Oh, what the heck? Who's he?
Who's what?
Who's this dude with the hearts? I picked it up. Pinky lemonade? Did you do that? I'm talking to a statue. I believe you. I totally tried talking to a statue, and then I hit it, and it picked it up, and it scared me. I have never seen that statue before.
It kind of looks like the Lorax.
He does. Oh my gosh, I gotta put like that statue again somewhere so somebody else falls for the same thing. What? But stop it. Stop doing that. There. Okay. We're just gonna like get some other random person hopefully with this statue. I'm gonna plant it in a new spot. This looks like a let's put it by the grave site, like he's here at the grave talking. Yeah. I don't know, then it's right next to another statue. But I could remove those statues. Then it looks more like there's a dude there. And you're like, oh my god, there's somebody at Grandpa's grave. What's going on? Get off me! Momo made me scream. You guys heard it first. Oh, she's doing all the things. Just saying. She's being devious. I'm scared to go in my house.
A local mess.
Yeah. Okay, I think there's berries. No, those are fish. Where are the berries at? There's the berries.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
We're gonna go make some. One in the basement too. Oh, Momo. So maybe I can only put wine bottles in these, I guess. Interesting.
I left little Easter eggs all over the place.
Oh my god. It scared me. No wonder she's asking about stuff.
Try and find out.
Oh yeah, they're like hiding in my bedroom. Oh my god. There's statues in my bedroom.
Wait until
behind my mushroom lamps that actually light up. Did you like the mushroom lamp, Momo?
It's cute.
Oh
I
yeah.
only bite with
I
consent.
have that guy too.
Let's see. Hug.
You have what guy?
Joffrey gets the hugs and the
mushroom lamp.
cookies. And
I want it.
Joffrey.
I don't
500.
remember where we got it.
I don't know, I think we
it's
bought
from
it.
the furniture catalog.
Oh, yeah, there was like, no, Rain's catalog I think has, then Rain, don't you have like a special catalog that has all the mushroom stuff in it?
Might. It's probably at my house.
Mm-hmm. I think she's got like a Junimo catalog or something.
Bedtime.
If it's not in my house, I probably already moved it over to where the other ones are.
Mm. What's the button again for the hacks menu?
P.
Key.
And I is for spotting.
I is what?
For spotting.
Spawning.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too, Bio.
Wait, what?
I apologize for all my
Those
clickbait,
statues
guys.
Behind your bouncy ball on cam.
I'm getting messaged on Instagram about my clickbait too. He's missing out. Elliot sure is. He needs to get his button gear. I think I see one of those statues behind your bouncy ball on cam. Oh no, that would freak me out. No. Nani?
Nani?
But yeah.
Rain, where did you go?
I'm in bed.
You're
Or are you
what?
talking? Or are you talking about like IRL?
IRL?
Oh, I'm cleaning my stove because I need to make dinner.
Mm.
Nani?
I need to fuck.
Yeah. Well, I'm hungry. So I'm rating.
What you making?
Just the frozen pizza.
What?
Frozen pizza.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Frozen pizza.
Frozen pizza, right?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize that my water was picking up.
Day 24, year 1. A wild meow stick appeared.
Hello?
Oh, you shipped with me. What's her name, Mama? Mono Mama? Mama Mono?
Clumsy cat.
Sorry.
Clumsy cat. That sounds good.
Kimono. Also possible.
Oh yeah.
Kimono Momoro.
Oh, jeez.
We'll do as many M's and O's as we can.
So many consonants.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any more. Nope, nope. I need more kegs. I wish I could just buy those.
I could just fake my relationship with Sebastian and make it go full hearts.
See, I can't even make kegs yet. I'm so sad. I want to make wine. Hug, thank you, Gabby! Mama and Mona caught meow stick.
Turn on infinite gifts.
Infinite what?
Gifts.
Oh, that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because this was the unlimited hacks farm, right? I'm so confused.
I don't know.
Unlimited or limited?
Limited.
Limited. Okay, then I won't.
Oh my gosh, Pierre has bouquets for sale.
Ooh.
He always has.
I have great news. My novel. Oh my god, he spoke to me. But he wrote me a letter. He wrote me a letter, of course.
Does limited include warping or it doesn't?
Oh yeah. But warping's like a thing that's already in the game.
So when he does his public reading at the library,
so that's fine.
Okay.
I could present him with a bouquet.
Oh my.
There you go.
No, I do not want to.
Thank you, Grubby. But it's closed on Wednesdays. How dare you tell me to come buy the bouquet when you're closed? Rude.
That's so mean when they do that.
You ruined my plans. New mailbox, who it is?
I did not check what our lucky situation, if there's any luck today.
Has anyone seen Abigail?
No.
Did y'all decide?
What did we decide?
I don't know.
What are you hesitant about, dear?
I was trying to remember what to give Elliot. Hi, Nick Nothy. welcome to the stream. Thank you for the like, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So yeah, the guy.
I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday.
It's George's birthday. What does the guy like? Besides chilies, does he like
Berries.
pizza?
Who's
Beer?
birthday?
Blueberries.
Oh, blueberries.
Mhm.
Oh, you have blueberries growing in your house, Momo.
I do. I do.
Looks like a
Or
fungal girl.
around my house. Where in my house?
In the plant pots. Growing.
Nice. I did not know that.
Ooh, there he is.
There she is.
Thank you.
Let's see, so...
Anyone who wants a blueberry for George?
George?
Nah, I don't want to be friends with him.
Ah!
Why can't I? Why can't
Who
I
likes
gift him?
blueberries again, George?
George, yeah.
Yeah, you want one for George?
Talking to my man.
Tarantino
hi.
We
Ranger?
gonna fight.
I just said hi. Oh,
I'm messing with you.
God. I mean, I
Fishing?
know you're desperate.
Alright,
but
Tank,
damn,
get
man.
some sleep. Oh! Rude!
Love
Oh
you,
wow, there's a lot of people here for this reading. Kat, you made it.
I'm not there.
I feel
Oh,
so
I didn't know there
relieved
was a
to be
reading.
done with my book.
Oh, it's just
It's
the
like an
part
elephant's
of it
been
that I
lifted
know
off my shoulders.
Never seen it before.
Not me either. I better get started with the reading. Wish
Oh.
me luck.
I see different people in the library as you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
Have you ever seen a fairy? Yes. Wow.
Ever since I was a young boy, I dreamt of becoming a writer. When the time came for me to leave home, I started my own life. I moved here. I was drawn to the peaceful beauty of the valley and hoped that the days of quiet reflection in this idyllic atmosphere would fan the literary flames.
Ooh.
After countless hours of scribbling at my writing desk, I present to you my first novel, Camellia Station. It's a romance novel about a train stewardess who falls in love. I told him I liked romance books, so I wonder if you did that.
Yes. Yes.
Fall in love with traveling architects. Chapter 1. Your ticket, sir. Ticket collector Gosman extended a gloved hand towards the young commuter. Yes, I have it. Right here, he replied, reaching into his coat pocket. How long is this gonna be? Modified his ticket. Mortified, he discovered that his ticket was missing. Okay, that was it. I was like, please tell me he's not gonna read the whole book or something. Claire, there's something I must tell you. He blurted as she turned to leave. Claire turned slowly and saw the look of desperation in Horatato's eyes. Was it Horatio? Yeah, Horatio's eyes.
Yes.
Gosman burst into the compartment, red-faced. Well, that concludes my reading. I'll be selling signed copies of the book by the front desk. Thanks for listening.
To my TED Talk.
Who sits there and reads an entire novel in a library to everybody? That would take like days.
Depends on the novel, but yeah.
Well, how was it? Thanks.
Horrible.
You know, I got the idea for writing a romance novel from you. Do you remember? Knew it. I knew it. Do it. That's why I dedicated this
the
book to
regular
you.
needs 5
Aw.
oysters and a smoked chub.
Already on it.
He dedicated this book to me.
Ooh, Mono. Mono getting her freaky area.
I'm wondering what other
Get that
scenes I
back
missed with him. Because I feel like there was none. Wouldn't mind trying my hand at farming. Oh, he wants to come help on the farm now. Okay, dear sir. Here would open his shop. I would have gave you a bouquet today. Because guys like flowers too.
Did you get the one at the saloon?
What
where
one?
you toast?
I don't think so.
Okay. That one's between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. when Gus is at the saloon.
What do you have to do?
3 p.m. and 10 p.m. Was it like a certain day of the week though?
Nope. Just as long as Gus is there.
Oh.
What do you have to do?
It's a scene.
Oh, it's for Elliot. Yeah, it's his heart.
But he's not here. I think he's only here at certain days of the week. Welcome to the Stardewvalley Saloon. I can get you anything? Yeah.
And you might have already done it, so.
I may have, but I don't remember. Not me, because I'll be walking in, but I think he's only here a certain day of the week.
Mono? I got
What?
you a present.
Uh-oh.
Wait, can I gift it to you? Why can't I?
So the book
Apparently not.
reading is 8 hearts.
Oh, I can't. I'll put it
You're gonna put it in the chest?
home. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi there, my lover. They're everywhere.
And I don't know
Are
if
you
know,
in love with the
if
statues?
you've gotten it. But there's another scene in his house.
Yeah. I was just trying to go in his house, but it's locked. I'm like, really?
Well, yeah,
I don't think it
it's
was
after 9
supposed to.
o'clock.
Shouldn't be locked though.
After a certain time, it still gets locked.
I should be allowed to enter. I guess he's not my fiance yet.
Little asshole.
What was that? Puddles? Sound like a Puddles attack.
I was walking over to the stove. He ran right in front of me, in front of my bad foot.
Oof.
Oof.
Because he wants to play.
Sounds like Puddles.
You okay?
Okay.
Oh.
So you put it in my house? Gift for me? Not that chest.
Not yet, not yet, not yet. I haven't been there yet. I will soon.
Let's see. We'll put
Trying to catch a freaking anchovy, but doesn't seem like I can.
Anchovy.
Oh, there it is. Wow, it's iridium. Fuck. Well,
It's getting late. No.
Dying.
I've already been in bed with Sam.
Cheater.
I'm not cheating.
Okay. I'm Dalton.
Nah.
Telephone's ringing. Robotic voice. Congratulations, you have a 10,000.
Oh gosh.
Oh jeez.
Pew.
Spam calls.
Yep.
They're everywhere. There's a fish in your arms.
Can I put it? I put it in your dresser.
You can put fish in there? I don't think you can.
No, not fish.
The blueberry?
No, at the present.
Oh.
I don't even think she's gonna know what the present is.
Probably
It's
not.
under the hats.
Hats. Tropical clip. Logo cap. Fedora.
I think it's blue, very tiny.
The tropical clip. And then...
Go to sleep though.
No, can't make me. Alright, I'm going to sleep. Yes.
Kissy kissy.
A wild Pokemon. However you say that thing's name.
Oh, good catch. Bye, Race. Oh, I want munchies, but yeah.
I was just eating some of these.
Oh, wafers.
But they're pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice. Look at the.
They're real good.
Look, Mona, this is how it looks. Look how cute.
Tropical clip. Oh, that's cute.
What is this?
I forgot I named my son Loki.
Ah. Now you can never
Yep.
marry Loki, because that would be wrong.
It would be.
Look at all the seeds you have, Mono, with the food.
Thank you for the creepy statue in my house, Momo. I don't talk to my son enough. So I just saw it.
Oh,
No, you have an insane amount of seeds in here.
I do. But you can only plant them certain seasons.
Right.
And I haven't been gardening at all.
I gave you some more seeds.
I don't think any of us have.
I want the thing you guys have. It looks so cute.
What thing?
A mushroom thing.
Oh, it's in my house.
Ooh.
The thingy. Right.
Inventory full. I have to empty my inventory first because it won't work if I don't.
It's the Junimo one, the middle green one that I have.
Thanks.
Let's see. What was I doing? Where did you go to the store?
Oh.
I need to go to the store.
You're so cute.
Momo? You
Yeah.
caught the Pokemon.
Oh, we did. Good. Oh, it doesn't like you. Sorry. Instant immediately replying.
Fine. You know, you gotta let the intrusive thoughts out sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, there's a house scene. So
There's
what
your
is
piano
this?
house scene.
Yeah, he's playing the piano. Can't really hear it though. Might be that I have the game turned down.
That's your 6 heart event. You've done your 8 heart.
Turned it up
You've done
now.
everything.
Now that he's done.
Rain, you got all the things.
Ah, I thought someone was there.
You did all the hacks. It's bigger on the inside.
Okay, where are you?
Yeah, sorry.
I've been working day and night trying to finish my book. It's driving me insane. Yeah, this is a little out of order now.
You're out of order.
There's just too much work to do. And my bank account's starting to run dry. Sometimes I wish I could just throw it all away and become a farmer like you. Aww. Come live on my farm. I could use the extra help.
Oh my god.
Help.
I don't know if that was the right answer. Seriously? Face, look at his eye. His eyes are like, ooh.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if that was the right answer.
Oh, no.
This sounds wonderful, but I can't give up on my novel. It's already halfway done.
You can
Dude,
write
it's
it
done.
Place. What the flick?
Hi, sorry, I'm complaining like this. I just need someone to talk to now and then. He's actually talking to me now. And then he vanished.
Wow.
And now I gotta go find him because I gotta give him a stinking bouquet. He vanished. He must have went to the library again. Why is he doing this to me?
Yeah, maybe I find a wife.
Oh, he's not in here.
Is there a general bed?
Here. I'll find where he's at. I got you.
Okay. Surely he's not at the bar already. It's too early.
Thursday. He would be at Pierre's or leaving Pierre's.
Oh. He goes to Pierre's?
Yep. And it's because you have hearts with them. You have to have at least 6 hearts with Elliot for him to be there on a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, he's not here either.
Yeah, he is. He's
Oh,
literally
yeah,
right
he's
there in the
blending
aisle.
into everything. I don't think the bouquet in the grocery store. Oh dear, a
What's
tiny
wrong with
crab
that?
appears to have made his home in my shirt pocket. He's got a
Aw,
a crab pet in his shirt pocket.
kinda cute, to be honest.
You have been licked, lady.
I should get like lick me for whatever reason. I know. Weird.
Is he licking you?
Yes, he's licking me. I don't get it.
Tasty.
Here.
Sure, that's what Brooke thinks.
Wrong button.
I'm constantly being phased by her. She's doing her mom and cat thing.
Apparently, I'm gonna get bots in myself. Self-love. How are you? No. All the
Wait,
things.
This is a useless bed. You can't even
Oh!
sleep in.
Hi. All the people are lined up here. That's the trouble with living on the beach.
Yeah, I
He
sleep
talked to
in
me
a usual
twice.
bed. That's stupid.
Is it smaller? Because I think it
Yeah.
depends.
No, it's like, I guess it's like the same size, but oh wait, you can. Never mind.
Here. Is he going in this balloon? Blah. No. Here. You want to get some more serious? I feel the same way. Now I have to wait for it to rain, right? And get more hearts.
So you.
I need one more heart, I think, to marry. And then it says he's my boyfriend now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Mona's got a boyfriend.
His name's
Oh.
Elliot.
Yeah, so yeah, when it's raining on the beach to get your mermaid pendant, and then on a non-rainy day between 7 and 1, you have to go to the beach for a 10 heart. Okay, I'm doing all the research.
So
for
when
you
it's
to be able
not
to do all
raining
the
and when it's raining?
Yes, so you need to go when it's raining first to go get your mermaid pendant. But I think you need 10 hearts before you do that.
Okay. And what does he like again besides wine? That's all I ever feed him.
Crab cake, duck feather, lobster, pomegranate, squid ink. He just likes wine. He doesn't love it.
I know. But it works because that's all I have.
He's not like you, Mono.
Let's see. There's a pomegranate. I just do it because I have it. And I don't remember what his favorites are.
Fair, pomegranate. Easy produce thing.
Shit, I forgot to go through.
Yes.
Oh, it's too late now, isn't it?
Just grab a couple of.
See with Sebastian. Yeah. Too late.
Oh my gosh.
What did you do? No.
No, he does not. I can't believe these names actually exist. Because you know they have to be a real person for you to get the sub,
Yeah.
right?
How did you even find that one? Where did you make it?
I think he just typed it in, to be honest.
Did he make it? Thanks for the hype, Michigan. Yeah, the account was created in 2018.
Yeah.
That's a legit account.
Wow.
Tier 1 subscriber.
Well, that's it. Ellie did your sim.
Yep.
Wait, don't cancel.
I have it on good authority. Elliot hasn't showered in over 3 years. He probably just goes to the beach. Jumps in the ocean. He probably looks like a mermaid when he comes out of the water with his long golden locks.
Oh my.
Red locks. He's not blonde, he's a ginger.
Golden red. Strawberry blonde. Call it.
Close.
Clothes? Clothes are important.
I'm trying to close the Ziploc thingy, but it didn't. Oh, you guys were already in bed. Who sold old roses?
Beach hippies you can smell from the next beach over. Oh my god, that would be so gross.
No, it was only one sunflower.
Oh, is that expensive?
Yeah. Pretty pricey. It was a silver star one.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Shane. Welcome. So what stream streak are you on? Inquiring.
Me or?
Yeah. You.
Spirit Festival.
Because you're getting close to 69. Remember?
I'm at 63.
Speaking of smells, I've smelled some pretty rough ones in my time. Oh my gosh, I can imagine, Shane. I couldn't handle it.
Rough what?
Smells. Being a nurse.
Putrid smells.
Kind of a terrifying spot for that statue behind the lamp.
He's the lurker perv.
Lurking.
He's a lurker perv. Let him be.
Lurker perv? Oh my gosh.
Oh. Tomorrow's festival starts at 10. Halloween. Puddles. No.
Sebastian's. Oh, it's not.
You tried to trip me.
Please don't destroy my tent.
I just got powder melon seeds.
Ew. Oh, you're on Big U, by the way.
Watermelon?
That's a problem.
Powder melon.
Can you just say hi for the moment? Work comes early in the morning, though. Lurk. Okay, thank you, Shane, and good luck tomorrow at work.
Thank you. Lewis, or not Lewis, Linus, that you can just give him any kind of food and he'll take it.
What time does he come out of his house? Momo has requested construction on her home. I guess he's sleeping in.
Why?
Making it bigger.
I'm joking.
I want it bigger.
It's okay. I'm getting a cellar too. So.
I have my cellar. I just gotta start working on it. I still can't craft kegs.
You can't?
No. I need to be able to craft kegs so that I can make wine, so that I can make, you know, purple wine in the cellar.
I can craft kegs.
Yeah, I don't know what I did. Is this the one that have at random?
I think so.
Fun. Look at.
Well, I can...
Beautiful gift, thank you.
Do we have any oak resin?
Whispers a sweet secret into your ear. Oh my! Psst, psst, psst. Momo, you're special. He did. He whispered a sweet secret in my ear.
Hey, Ray,
now you won't talk to me.
She's like,
There, I have 7 kegs down there for you now.
oh my.
Yay!
We only had 7 oak resin.
I've never had a cellar. Sebastian's working on his motorbike.
You got that cutscene.
I smell like clams today, just for you. Oh my god.
What? Is that a grass stain on your knee? What the fuck? I'm allergic to grass.
What are you reading?
It's, what's her name? I don't know her name. The blonde Haley.
Oh, Haley.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're so rude. Just saying.
Nosy. Foot.
Reading all the pet names.
Peanut. My peanut. Oh wow, there's loads of eggs in here.
Are we doing an experiment? Just letting them go.
Oh shit!
I hadn't
Sorry.
been there a couple
Okay.
days. No, you're fine. We weren't really
up
doing
a
an
few.
experiment.
It
We weren't doing an
accidentally
experiment.
turned into one.
There's so many.
I
Just accidentally turned into an experiment, though.
Okay, so she doesn't have a wedding dress top, so she just put on a gi on the top because then she just looks like she's going to a toga party or something. But it's okay.
Anybody have a catfish?
I probably do in one of my tests.
Ew.
If not, you can check the fridge.
It's not like we really need to do the quests with unlimited money, but does it help with?
It helps with
Social?
friendship levels and stuff, yeah.
I don't remember what they look like.
I don't either.
That's no
There we go.
Maybe I don't have catfish.
Bushfish, flounder, green, chub, dorado.
Yeah, because I don't have any in these foods either.
It's okay.
I tried.
I go to the fridge. Maybe I have one? Nope. I do apparently have oil of garlic.
Interesting.
Yeah. Probably got it somewhere. Blown away your hair way rolling around bat wings.
Why not?
She's holding a bat wing.
Well, please try not to kill him. Thank you.
But Mom!
Let's see.
He is going to be the death of me, I swear to God.
What? Oops.
Puddles.
Just been booping, so.
Where do you get
there's an
catfish?
egg in the incubator.
River?
Yes, it's a river fish.
Hold it, thank you.
Okay, don't forget, guys, that we can put the dino egg in the incubator next time something
Alright.
hatches.
Oh, yeah, I have one in my inventory. Do you already have a dino egg?
Yeah, I did. I just put it in the coop in the chest.
Alright, then I can take the one that I have to Thunder.
I'm not gonna make it anyway.
Trying to.
Why does it keep saying time frozen?
Oh, because Mona probably froze time.
Uh-uh.
No. Oh, it might be mine.
Yeah, because it's 7 p.m. It's not truly frozen.
Yeah. I wonder, where are you at,
Yep.
Momo?
No, I got it. I'm at a house.
Oh, I wonder if it's just, it was on for inside places, but I don't know.
I think it probably was on when I did a play by myself, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to turn it off. Yeah.
With it being multiplayer, unless Mona does it, it doesn't work.
Right. It makes sense.
Commands.
That's the big one.
I would.
Where do
Just
we
don't
go
look
for
at
the
chat.
festival?
Oh,
It's tomorrow.
Oh, that's today, isn't it?
Is it today? I thought it was tomorrow.
Oh, I thought it was today.
Maybe it is today.
No, I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
Really not sure.
That's the town, but did any of us go into town today?
I did, and nothing happened.
Okay, so then yes, it's tomorrow. No, wait.
But it started at 10
after
p.m.
10. Yeah, it's after 10. So
I'll
maybe
go check.
Oh, so we're early.
Let me.
It's now.
Pew.
Oh no, I'm getting an
it's
event.
tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
I'm getting an event with the garbage.
I just checked the calendar. It is tomorrow.
Nice. Why are you heading to our farm, Sam? Oh wait, Sam is yours.
Good. He's my hubby.
So let's see. Mono's bed is taken now by the. Oh no, he didn't want to move in yet.
Sam's getting home late. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
He didn't come home late.
He did though.
Really?
Yeah, it's almost 4 o'clock.
11 p.m.
Yeah.
What do you mean 4? Why did you say 4 o'clock?
Oops.
Oh. I think you're hearing things.
I think I am. I might be. Yeah, it's tomorrow. Spirits. Was that the one with the maze and things?
You know nothing.
I just wanted to touch it.
For whatever reason, that's the one I can remember.
Yeah. Number 42.
Oh. I incorporate it with the meaning of life, and therefore 4.
Oh my, that's a big pizza pie.
Momo, what the fuck?
Oh no.
Oh no, go to bed, it's 1.
Doing all the things today.
All the intrusive thoughts.
Oh my.
Money, money, money. Oh man. Like a ping pong ball right now. Annoying.
Drops, pearls, grapes, pearls. What?
Are you medicated for this shit?
What?
Are you medicated?
No. This is my brain running on fumes. This is what happens. Emily, thank you. Bye.
What day is it? I forgot to do the recipe thing.
A Sam filled Kyo's water bowl.
Oh, nice.
Fruits platter. A wild weedle appeared.
Weedle.
Weedle.
Yep. Weedle. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, it's not that one, it's this one.
I love how we have a duck just named Duck Feather.
I mean, that was his sole purpose in life, was to give us a duck feather, and he's done so.
Life's purpose complete.
I can craft crab pots.
Alright, wait. I haven't
Do you need
remembered
those?
what I can craft. I can make the farm computer. I don't remember what it does. What does it do
You
again?
can make a wooden brazier.
It lets us see the things that are watered and stuff like that, I think.
A bone mill?
I can...
Oh, what did you
I want the skull braziers. I need bones. I don't have bones.
What the heck is in my kitchen? Is that a fish smoker.
Okay.
A what?
A smoker.
A smoker. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to make copper bars because they all got used.
You have Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
And...
So I can make your tasks.
Let's see.
I kind of wanna just go ahead and max out with Sebastian because I can't be arsed
Okay.
away anymore. Can I, Mono? Can I?
That's rain. She's taken over.
No, I'm asking you.
Go for it.
You sure?
Yeah. Let's see.
P. Where is it? Relationships. I'm just gonna do the gifts anytime, and then I'll just give
It just
the
makes
tiers
it
that
quicker.
I mean, yeah, I'll just give them the tiers that I have, so I don't use the hacks to just give unlimited stuff. I'm just giving the things that I have. That
I
makes
mean, that's
it
what
worth.
I did. It's like we
Yeah.
just kept wanting Joja
Got you in the
Cola, like,
kitchen?
through the
I was
machine.
hungry.
So.
Wait, he only likes Joja Cola.
Nico, Nico,
Damn it.
Nico! Welcome,
Yeah, I
Dash!
know.
It's
Nico,
one of his
Nico, Nico.
favorites, so.
Oh, jeez. Joja Cola.
He's gonna tell me I can't give Elliot any more gifts today, but I'm gonna go talk to him anyway. Just make sure he doesn't lose hearts or whatever.
Right.
Oh, the festival. Never mind. I can't do that today.
Oh, fuck.
reorganizing your thing here.
The chest?
Your feller.
Oh. Yeah, I put berries in.
How interesting. So the amount of casks that you have in the cellar is enough to line all of the walls, like the side walls and the bottom wall.
That's crazy.
Oh, and I made you 2 more. Guys.
Oh, hi Wiggles! Welcome to the stream!
Wiggle, wiggle.
Thank you for the sub! Thank you for the 8 months! Thank you for the hype, Michigan!
And I was gonna make sure that you have room to line up between each one.
Because can I decorate in here too, through a stream?
What is it?
Can I decorate in here too?
Oh yeah, you got your weird pedo statue.
No, I meant like the walls and the floor.
I don't know, I think so.
Let's see. Oh, that's right, I was gonna do all the Joja furniture because it's blue.
You might be into town. I can't go.
Is there blue tile?
Oh, I guess I still need to come here.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah, well...
No, I didn't mean to buy that.
Is he not in the mines or near the mines? If he's not, he should be smoking next to the edge of the lake. Near the bridge.
I don't see him there.
Okay.
Holy Willy.
Let's try. Of course. Of course, hey.
He wasn't in his bedroom either, so... He might be setting up the spooky fish room.
Maybe I can't do the cellar.
Okay.
That's sad.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I didn't let you decorate the cellar.
Oh.
It's gotta say gross looking.
He didn't like the fact that I gave him Joja Cola. It makes me sad.
Aww.
That's because it's considered junk. More specifically, trash.
Now maybe I find a wife. Okay, get your wife.
Yeah, no raccoon wife.
How far did we get in the other playthrough?
I don't know.
A baby?
Not yet.
I think they were working on getting babies.
Right.
Yeah, they were like, now we can raise the family or something, I think was the last thing.
Right.
I'm getting chip crumbs everywhere. I hope you're doing good, Wiggles. I hope your week is going well. Actually. Dang it. What time's the festival start?
10. 10.
Won't fit there.
You're looking at Momo.
I was wondering how many yards I had, but I think it's a bit bugged because it shows Sam twice, Robin twice.
Interesting.
Your phone's ringing.
And earlier it showed Sebastian twice with the relationship levels. But that's only in the CBW menu, so might be a bit booped.
Someone's calling. Where's my phone?
I don't know where your phone is.
What's up here?
You have to get your own straw.
Oh, what's it? Oh, I found it. It's okay. I missed it.
Oh no. There's no
Not bad so far, but definitely ready for Friday. Me too, Wiggles.
Well, it's Friday.
Soon.
You're gonna do some more fun.
It will be Friday soon. Yeah, we'll do. I might do marbles Friday.
Floor divider? What the fuck is that?
It separates your open plans.
Oh, cool.
So if you wanted your open floor plans and just have it separated that way.
That's cool.
Instead of walls.
Sorry. I had to finish it.
It's all good.
Enjoy Sam's music again.
Ow, 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 ow.
I missed last Friday. What did you end up playing? We did golf. We did golf.
Go with who?
Yeah. We did like different versions of golf, like the speed golf, of course. And what else did we do? I'm trying to remember.
Do you remember? Jesus.
Oh, that's right. I can build a spare room. I forgot about that.
It has begun.
See, why does that have to be off center? I don't like that.
Festival, guys. The festival.
Because Concerned Ape hates us.
I know.
Why?
The things where things are nothing centered
right.
and all that, it drives me nuts. Oh, that doesn't work with that? What?
You're special. No, the festival has begun.
I don't know what festival you're talking about. Just kidding. See, even the cushions for the tea table. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I know.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Rigged? Yes, it was rigged. Well, we missed you, Wiggles.
Oh, you're condemned to slowness here.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I walking so slow now?
Apparently there's one person I haven't talked to, but it's probably Crocus. I don't know.
Oh, Krobus?
Crocus, that's one.
Oh,
okay.
Maybe?
Wow, I forgot how slow you are when there's nothing.
That's what we were talking about.
Jeez.
You're like super slow. Wait until you get to the maze, and then you gotta go through the maze like super slow.
Still talking to everyone. Let me get rid of that. Something in the shop?
Golden pumpkin achieved.
Funky bug.
Now I'm gonna ride the minecart. Take the secret shortcut back. Woo! Can I take it back the other way? Ah, it only goes one way? Yeah, there's a shortcut at the end of the maze now to come back that you don't have to go through the whole maze again.
Nice.
It is pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
So there's nothing here, right? Other than getting the golden pumpkin, pretty much?
Yeah.
I'm talking to peeps. to help with decay. Friendship decay. I'm pretty sure I talked to her already, and her. Talk to everyone. I'm not going back to the maze to talk to people I missed. I'm not doing that.
You can see Willy and the wizard standing on top of that. It's weird.
Jack-o'-lantern recipe, funky rug. Jack-o'-lantern.
So where's the shortcut? Oh, to the right.
Yeah. We won tickets for the comedy club on Friday. Ended up making it an extended date night weekend. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Wiggles. Sounds like you had a good time then. A wild toxic Pokemon up here.
Get me out of it.
Yeah, that one looks so weird up underneath the all those things. There's a little face and a little guy.
Yeah.
I don't own that ball.
Don't own that ball? Get it, Mama.
No, I do.
Mm-hmm,
It's gonna be
mm-hmm.
late though. Probably. Oh, I made it.
You're fine.
Made it. There we go.
Mm. Just sit here at my doorway. Get smacked.
Mhm.
Come on.
I love it. Doesn't let you move the bed if the cat's laying on it.
Mm-hmm.
We just sell the golden.
I just wanted to pet the cat. It wouldn't let
Yeah,
me.
you can sell it.
Upstairs.
It's probably already been pet for the day.
Probably. Very possibly. Alright. I should not eat all the golden rainbows in one day.
Oh, your mic.
Especially considering there's what? 8 servings in this bag?
For
Let's be real.
toddlers.
There's 2.
No one caught it. There. What did you do?
Welcome, Raiders! Welcome, welcome, welcome!
Oh,
Welcome to the
great.
stream! Scared me though.
Yeah, I heard Mona go.
What is that, Momo? Thank you for the hype. Welcome, Raiders and Simi Diaz. Thank you so much for that raid. Much appreciated. I hope you are doing awesome. Sorry, LOL. No, don't be sorry. It's all good. It's all good. I hope you had a good stream.
All good in the hood.
There. There's like trees and all kinds of weirdness going on in my room.
Who doesn't have trees in the house?
It's turning into a forest in there. I'm good just playing some Sky Factory. Nice. I hope you're having a good Wednesday then. Let's put this one on the floor too. Can I put it on the floor? No. There. Can have a little section of blue tile there.
It's really hard to see what I'm doing.
Are you dropping
Tell
trees
me
on the
about
floor?
They're in my way.
Oh. Okay.
Let's go. Let's go to town. Are you licking bots again, Michigan? Are they tasty? Oh, it's
Sure
Sunday.
they're
Don't forget to do
electrifying.
your recipes, guys.
You might want to pick up the little pumpkin guy. Well, maybe no. You know what? Just gonna...
Peanut sauce.
Keep running into things.
There, I added more pumpkins.
Things.
Oh. Let's see. It's probably too early. Hello. New achievement, best friend. I have to remember to water my plants today and not with seawater this time. Oh god. Who did I just make my fiance the person that waters his plants with seawater?
Yeah, you chose the idiot, so...
Hey. Look, I fixed up that old rowboat that has been sitting by my house. Pretty nice, huh? So I could fix the rowboat, but waters plants with seawater. Would you do me the honor of joining me for a maiden voyage? Oh dang, I'm scared. Get in the boat. No! Yeah, yes. Told you Elliot is a beach hippie. He would know how to take care of plants properly, you would think.
Let's see how far we are. Oh, I have 8 hearts. Wait, what do I do now?
Go get a bouquet.
So my book's been out for a while now. It's not a bestseller or anything, but it's been getting some good reviews from critics.
Nice.
Pretty sure this is a true crime I watched.
Look at you being on the water with him.
I know, and I really couldn't have finished it without your moral support.
Not breathing on me.
Actually,
Going down.
that's not true at all. I would have finished it either way. What?
Thank you.
Rude. But it wouldn't have been a romance novel. But I'm grateful that you believed in me, in my vision, and well... Kat? How do I say this? Uh-oh. Well, I've been friends for a while now, but I'm not sure if I feel that way about you anymore. Oh no! Just kidding.
No, what did you do?
No, I'm not saying I want to cut all ties with you. Look at his face. He's like, he heard Momo's reaction and he's like,
Yeah.
no, like that. Sweet. In fact, quite the opposite.
For an author, he doesn't really have a way with words.
Let's see, how do I put this? Apparently not, for once. I'm at a loss for words. Here you go. Oh, you crashed in the $50 million life insurance policy. Oh, God. Oh, they kissed. Oh.
Oh.
Cat, you're trembling. You make me very uncomfortable. Stop.
What?
That's an option.
Don't do that. You're gonna lose him.
Still kissing. Wait, how long is this kiss? Until I push the button.
Yes.
It's the longest kiss in Stardew history. Shall we make it go for 24-hour stream and come back?
Oh my god. No, because time is running, and if we're not careful,
True. It'd be 24 hours in Stardew days. No. So am I.
I mean, I guess as long as me and Mama are in bed before 2, it'll be okay.
The vibration from your body has caught the attention of the crimson fish. We'd better get out of here. What the heck is a crimson fish? And
Oh, I
vibration from my body? Oh my god.
have a crimson fish.
You do? Is it vicious?
Yeah. It's just one of the legendary fish. I think. Maybe
Look at the valley from here. It finally looks like home.
I don't know.
Sigh. What a day.
you
Book Talk
mad
has
now?
found Stardew.
She still has a little bit of time before she's
Yeah, I'm gonna get the mermaid pendant next when it rains.
Same. Oh, I changed it.
I did.
GG.
I was good.
Who's a good girl?
Let's see what he has to say now. Does he talk anymore? No, he's done talking to me for the day. Rude. Don't empty the trash can next to him. That's not very smart.
I see you're already wearing your wedding dress.
Yeah, it's the toga. It's the gi top because I couldn't find the wedding dress top. So she looks like she's wearing a toga.
I love that you're eating yours.
Oh, sorry, they don't like that.
What?
Elliot is like, nah, we done. Right.
Are they nerds? Oh, wait, they're cool.
Oh.
There.
Oh, it's those.
But the thing is, the texture is just weird to me. I like them.
I have to be careful because Elliot, even though he comes to the bar, he actually doesn't like he does not like it. Did I give Pam one already? I think I did. Maybe not. Chug, chug, chug. Yeah, turn rainbow colors. My mission for the day is complete. Now we'll go assist. Oh god, that thing crawled out of the ground and scared me.
Yeah, that'd be a golem for you.
Yeah. It like stopped my horse.
Why can't the rug be under? Oh wait, it can.
My fat boy.
Why can't it be on the furniture sometimes? It's weird.
My fat baby.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh
For
no.
those who aren't watching, Rain is talking.
I'm talking about my pussy.
Oh jeez.
I didn't say it. She did.
I didn't say it either. Elliot
the
doesn't
final
want
thought.
his future wife drinking. Sounds pretty controlling. Kit Kat, I got a question for you. Are you interested in watching Beetlejuice 2?
She better be. If not, I'm just gonna force her to take her with me.
Apparently, I'm gonna watch it with Rain.
I'll be getting there just in time.
It's true.
Wanna take the lid out?
Milk them sheep, right? I tried. I tried
Papa.
milking the sheep. It didn't
Papa,
work.
wait a little bit.
Let's
If you wait
see.
a little bit, I can take you. Stay.
Yeah. Let's see. Now I need the wool to go on the little thingamajiggy for the sheep, and then I need to put milk in thingamajigs.
A beep, beep.
So are you gonna watch it, Shade? Is that what you're saying? Shade is gonna watch Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Oh, more mushrooms everywhere. You know, that's what we don't have yet is an oil maker thingamajiggy.
Right.
I don't think I can make that yet either. I can't. Maybe Rain can.
I do.
You can make the oil machine for the truffle oil.
Probably.
A baby lizard hatched. It was the lizard egg already in there. Said it 3 times.
Yes, I can. As long as I have the.
What did I say 3 times?
Hardwood is fine.
Rain over here stealing my thunder. Yeah, I was gonna watch it the day after. Wild Aeron appeared. Poketch, guys. What are we naming the lizard? Beetlejuice. There you go.
Charizard. We have a lizard?
Yeah, the dino. Level 2. Look at this. I'm a beast. Oh my gosh.
I want to see it. Fucking planted those vines. They're so annoying.
So it releases on Friday.
Which Friday? This Friday?
Yes.
Oh, so it's way before you come. I hope it's still in theater by the time you get here.
No, it'll be fun to get together.
If not, you can watch it at home together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is true.
I know, Papa. Can you wait?
I'll say, because it might be done in theater by the time you get here and get settled.
These girls to go to sleep because it's 1:30.
Oh, crap. Yeah, let's go to
I
bed.
have a very upset dog. He needs to go to the bathroom.
Oh, I'm gonna go to whoever's house this is. No. Yes. Rigged.
I know. Hold on.
399 times.
Wait.
It was rigged. Nobody caught it. It's lame.
Please let it rain.
Right?
Please let it rain.
It's sunny.
It's not even snowing. It's the first day of winter.
I'm gonna take Doggo out.
That little creature looks like something out of a Dr. Seuss book. Doesn't it?
Which one?
The one that you put all over the farm? The little statue?
He was in the. He was in
Meet me at the
inventory
docks
thingy.
on a sunny morning. I've got something in mind. Oh no.
Oh, my pumpkins are rotten.
I'm going to give you this advice because I like you. I want you to stay in Pelican Town. If there comes a day that you want to ask for someone's hand in marriage, you'll need to give me a mermaid's pendant. Don't worry, everyone in Pelican Town understands the significance of the amulet. It's an ancient tradition in this region. Good luck. Oh my. Meredith in my mailbox. Along with I gotta meet Ellie at the docks. Oh! It's Krobus. Da, da, da. Be my friend, Krobus. Follow his footsteps. You're gonna run into Krobus when you go to town.
Oh shit.
Shadow guy. Eat! You call me. I'm sorry. Take it, take it. It looked so valuable, I couldn't help myself. A magnifying glass. You received a magnifying glass. You now have the ability to find secret notes.
Hi.
Shake the bush.
I'll shake it.
Shake the bush. Shake it, shake it,
Bush,
shake it.
bush, bush.
And then he'll come out of the bush.
Got it. A
Train is passing through Stardew.
Ooh.
I have a date at the docks though, so.
Of course you do.
Well, he said when it's sunny. I thought it was sunny. Oh, the time's gotta be a little bit sunnier in the day, maybe. Because he's slow. He doesn't get out of bed till like 10 o'clock. I forget.
Does that make me ultra slow? Oh, there's it has, it's a train filled
I'm a
with
farmer.
fish.
Apparently I get up early.
Right.
Yeah, did you find anything?
Mystery box?
Oh, from the train? Cool. I just bought mine. It's a Mordor.
Leprechaun shoes? What the hell?
Or
You?
Withy, what? What is it? I got mystery boxes, yeah.
I got leprechaun shoes.
Oh, that's cool. Are they green?
Yup.
I need those in my other save file where I'm dressing my character like Link. The new Stardew game. Oh, nice. Hello, cat. You told me to meet you at the docks, but you're not there yet, so... Go. Go to the docks! Don't look at me like that! Oh. He's just gonna hang out here? You trudged through the snow to visit me. Yeah. I'm honored. Okay. You said go to the docks, and he didn't go to the docks.
I don't know what mine said, and I don't know what...
Oh, there he goes.
I think I just
Or
clicked
just
to the...
look like 10 years, and it doesn't launch. It didn't launch? I
I'm
don't
so
know where
used
he's
to just clicking through the dialogues that I'm... Oh, for me, no, it wasn't.
The
I
ass
don't know what's
brain.
the fashion sad.
I don't know either. I haven't tried to win him over. Somebody's always after him, so I haven't tried him.
Oh, sorry.
No, I always do other
Not
people.
in this game, honestly, because I've had it last.
No, it made it easier for me just to pick the same person in all 3 saves that I'm playing right now.
True.
Let's see. You've already given Emily 2 things this week. Yeah, but I wanted to give her some more wool. I don't need it. Haley is not gonna like yams. She doesn't like anything.
Elizabeth.
She's something. This cat, treat them kind and we'll become friends, I'm sure. I'm trying to give you some cheese. There you go.
Hey, you look great. I've been thinking about your birthday.
He's been thinking about you. There's the raccoon. So cute. Yeah, maybe I thought it must be wedding season because you know you're trying to hope for rain. The raccoon's hoping for a wife. Trying to get with Elliot. Rain just beat us all to it. She's already married. Her kid's on the way.
I mean, she did the thing too.
Donate it to the museum.
Yeah.
Alright. I guess it's not a sunny day in winter. I don't know.
I don't know.
It says it's sunny on the thing.
I'm sorry.
All the fertilizer. Seeds. Must be getting ready for spring.
Alright, I also need to go to Pure, but I'm too late now, probably. Yep. Mona made it in time. I didn't.
I don't. Just barely.
Like,
I'm making him work overtime because he shuts down at 4. It's always 5. Making poor Clint work overtime. That's okay.
wait, what's that? I've never seen that room in the bar.
Gunther. Okay, so I can go talk to Gunther. It's not
It's
too
like a
late.
private.
Donate. Doo -doo -doo. New reward.
It's free.
You got rewards at the thingamajig. There's coffee.
I had the other two.
Coffee must be the new one that I just did.
Sorry.
I'm sleepy.
I'll play B first.
Does snow count as rain?
Yes.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Thanks, Dad.
Mono. Tomorrow.
Yay!
Let's go to sleep.
She's so excited to go to sleep. I've never seen such.
Mom was always procrastinating her sleep, and now she's like, let's sleep. I need my bastion.
They organize.
Cat has gone to bed. Okay, I'll join you. No, I do not want to eat the
You
anchovies.
said to go to bed.
I'm coming.
So I went to bed.
Oh yeah.
Like a good girl.
Good girl.
Oh my god.
During the night, Joe Coles gave birth to a baby cow. We have a new baby cow. They're multiplying. I forgot they can do that.
Is it electrified?
Oh.
They might be playing. And I'm losing control.
I'd like to find. Cheers.
You're breathtaking.
Maybe jump. Alright. Let's
To the
see.
beach. Just wanted to know that I'm carrying. It's called a wood chipper. Nope, not interested. Catch me a
And
squid.
you sorry for yawning?
Yes.
Oh.
Let me see if they're a mermaid.
Salad.
There.
I learned how to make a salad. Oh, I forgot to do Queen of Sauce the other day. Catch me a squid. Oh, dang it. Thanks, squid. That's where I'm at in my other game.
On the beach, but like
Him? The wizard?
the other
Whatever
the old
that thing.
mariner.
Yeah, the mariner, yeah.
It's on the other side, not the main beach, but the other beach.
The other beach up toward the top of the trees.
Okay.
They're not here.
Yeah, they're not there. That's usually. Yeah. You're in the right spot. Where's he at? Get out of the bushes, dude! So I guess snow maybe doesn't count, and even though it was a sunny day, it didn't count earlier either.
Old Mariner will not appear in winter unless a rain totem is used.
We have a rain totem.
Even if the rain totem is used, he will not appear during the night market, 15th through the 17th. So keep in mind.
Rain totem. Do we have rain totems?
Let me check.
15th, 17th.
Let me go look.
Prismatic jelly or 80 hardwood. 80 hardwood. It is. There we go. Sorry, I have that. So easy choice. Right.
So you're gonna make it.
I have 80 hardwood already.
Sweet. Well, catch.
Well, almost.
I was looking just to see if I own one or something, because I got several totems in my chest. Warp totem. Yeah, I don't have a rain totem.
Monty.
Trout soup.
Wait, no, it was right there. Robin.
The soup can go in the fridge.
I have no clue what I gave her, but that's not what I wanted to give her. How do I give her the thing we need to give her?
Oh, wait. Oh, you have to catch the squid, don't you? Or do I just have to give it to him? Catch a squid. Bring Willie. Oh, bring Willie a squid. Do I have to actually have to catch it? Maybe not. So that means I have to keep up my friendship level with Elliot until it rains.
How do you add to Robin's order?
Just make rain totem.
Yeah, I think she's working on it.
Oh no, I'm working on the quest thingy.
Oh.
The squid?
No, for Robin.
But what if you need your hardwood for the rain totem and you're busy giving it to
You need
the
one hardwood,
west?
I have
truffle oil, and pine tar.
I've all my hardwood.
Pine tar.
But I don't have. I can't make rain totems, so
Yeah.
I cannot. I can make warp.
Unless
see what I can make.
Mono decides to use the thing.
Warp, warp, warp.
I guess you could, but that's her choice. Oh, this sucks. I actually need to cut 80 hardwood. It didn't count that I already gave it to her.
Gosh. Actually, no. I think I want this fixed.
You gotta cut it down, not just give it to her.
I gave it to her, but I also need to cut it, apparently.
Yeah, you gotta gather it too.
Jack be nimble, Jack be thick. Excuse me, what kind of book is this that I found? I found some literature. Why does it look like his eyes are on fire?
Hey, Momo.
Yeah.
Are you watching my screen?
I am now.
Is that one of them?
What did you do? You got one? How did you get one? You get a rain totem?
Yeet.
Clouds
Clouds are gathering in the sky.
Does it mean it's gonna rain tomorrow?
Yeah. Chances are high. That's what it says. Oh my god, the trash can lid fell off. Flew off. And it was explosive. Oh, it's on my horse! My horse is wearing a trash can. Good job, horse. His new nickname is Trash Can.
Amazing.
Yeah.
His name is Trash Can.
Yeah. His name is Trash Can. Don't judge.
I'm judging so hard.
So damn hard. Oh, if you find the winter root thing, Kimono, it's the last one we need.
Oh,
I mean the
winter.
The ice thingy one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The snow yam or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because I just found the other one.
The blue one?
Yeah.
The locust flower?
Crocus.
Crocus.
I just checked the forest. It's not there, sadly.
Sometimes you can find them in
on
the
a chewy
lower levels
stick.
of the mine. Like 70s.
Gunther.
Right, that's true. Look at my horse.
So you already gave them the crystal fruit, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta look for all the dig spots, basically.
Yeah, I went through the forest already, so.
And I'm up by the train. I'm up by the train station. Looking around.
Yeah, I'll go behind Joja. Got some worms while I'm at it. Nope, nothing.
When there's no dig spots anywhere. It might take a few days.
You mean the wormsies?
Mm-hmm.
I already got them all.
Mm-hmm. Because that's where you can find the yams. Or whatever the snow things are.
Not up here either. Too bad. You went to the train already, right?
Yeah. The battery-powered lockbox. Unfortunately, there's no battery in it.
Hey, Sebastian.
Yeah, I don't think it's have a lightning rounds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did we craft those yet? Let's see, I can't craft those either. Dang it.
I'll be able to eventually. Nothing to do in rain. What do you mean we can't be reached by photographs?
Well. Did you still need cave carrots, Mono?
No.
Okay.
The only thing I need is Pam's pale ale.
Yeah.
Oh, I have ale. Oh no, beer, sorry.
I was gonna say it's gotta be pale ale.
gotta be peeled.
I thought we grew hops and did all that. You know we have a greenhouse. We have nothing growing in it.
Yeah, I think I was trying to reorganize it.
You could make ale in there. Grow some hops.
Oh God.
What?
My beavers got flooded.
Ooh.
Oh.
You playing the beaver game, right?
She is playing the beaver game.
Just checking.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized a lot of our plants turned into snowmen. We have snowmen everywhere.
I learned a new power.
I don't know what the heck happened, but it really did be flooded, and I
Oh, you have to ask a Dutch person, don't ya? It's a joke we have, because, you know, well, in the Netherlands, we build dams.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No.
Basically, in the 50s, half our country flooded because it's below sea level. Lots of people died. That's the sad part. So we built like very high sea, like dunes and stuff like that, and a special machine that closes so the water doesn't get in.
And you'll have all the beautiful windmills and tulips.
We do with tulips.
Okay, my beavers are okay. It flooded for a little bit, but...
When I was a child in elementary school, I built a windmill because I love the tulips so much. I forget what kind of project it was. It was some kind of project. We had to build something.
Just saying.
I know. I'm well aware.
Okay, cool. Bedtime.
And if I do, I'm gonna be wearing some outfitters. So.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were already in bed.
Yawning.
You're good.
Guess what it is? Is it
Rain day.
Is it?
Find out.
Do we hear the rain?
Yes.
Let's go to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
Raining in winter. Who knew?
I mean, it rains in winter a lot here.
You too, but it's Florida.
Right. I hear Mono. Oh, she fast. Look at her go. Right behind you. Hello, merman. Yes, we got it. And do we give it now instantly?
Yeah. I gotta wait for him to wake up. It's 7 a.m. He's not awake yet. I'm just gonna sit outside his house and stalk him. Huh?
Oh, no, you.
Oh. Hi, Virgos. Thank you for the big hype.
You want to do the day again? Or you're good?
I can't believe I was on Big Me the whole time.
Open up! This is 9 a.m., right? Or 8?
I think it's 9.
Okay, Yeah, then I'll just cut some. I'll go cut some hardwood. I'll go cut some hardwood for my man.
I did some minor foraging. Got some seeds.
You don't want to know.
Oh no.
I love at this point that I don't even have to say it. I just have to laugh at you guys are like,
no,
no. Literally.
It's 9 a.m. Let's go.
It didn't let me. A munchlax.
Wake up. If you're lucky, you might see a frog in his litter. I'll show you my frog.
Huh? Catch if you want a munchlax. You're engaged before me. He won't come out of the house.
No! Get out
Oh yeah,
of
he
there!
doesn't come out when it's raining.
Oh no, that's right.
When is he? Where is he?
In his house. He stays in his house the whole time it's raining. I should be allowed to go in by now, though. There we go. He just takes till 10.
Okay.
Nice of you to visit. Sorry, I feel morose today. What is morose? Morose today.
Morose.
I've never heard of that word.
Wait, no. Every time I right click him, we kiss.
I wish there was more certainty about the future. Uh-oh. He's wishing there was more certainty about the future.
Well, here you go.
I don't want to grow old as a lonely hermit on this beach. He's like throwing all the hints at me.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, where? Hey, come back, don't leave. Got something for you. You don't have to grow old on the beach.
Oh?
I accept.
Oh, my.
I'll set everything up. We'll have the ceremony in 3 days, okay? All those hints. He's been ready for weeks.
This man. Oh no, let's go dress shopping.
Oh, I wonder how they do the wedding thing if we both have it at the same time.
Oh shit.
Oh, that would be an interesting thing to figure out.
If it's like a dual wedding.
No, I have to stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
Copper ores. Yeah, fuck off, Clint.
Momo's gonna find us matching dresses.
I don't know where to find clothes though.
Emily makes them, but
It's also in the catalog.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think I ended up just spawning mine.
She did.
Oh, right. You don't need to get one because it. Oh shit, Emily! I didn't want to give you a fucking. I accidentally gave her an acorn. She did not like it.
A horse can't fit.
I would love to get an acorn. You can make a whistle of them.
Yeah.
You gotta get your own horse, though.
Pop it off, and then you just do this.
Yeah. Interesting.
Get all these mushrooms. I don't think I've checked this cave the whole time we've been playing.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Oh yeah, let's go look for a thingy in the cave.
Can't leave surprises in there. Hmm.
You want to
Like,
avoid
is building
it?
gonna be closed by the time I get over there? I said I wasn't gonna eat any more gummy bears, but then at some point I opened them back up and started eating them again. I don't know. A star drop.
Wait, weren't we? Didn't we unlock the sewers yet? We did, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm starting.
You can get a star drop at Focus. He has butterfly powder.
Yeah, that's for something else, I think.
Oh. And a return scepter. That's cute, but maybe. Wicked statue. That sounds cool. You didn't get the star fruit yet at the sewers?
I don't remember, tell you the truth. Probably did.
Wait.
I'll have to go look.
Unlock the hatch with the rusty key, so maybe we don't have it yet. Shit, I thought we did.
That's probably the other save.
Sorry. Getting things mixed and matched.
It's all good.
I mean, we saw Crocus just now, so I thought that meant that we opened...
No, you have to finish the museum, I think, and then you get the key from the museum. Actually.
And that's why I wanted to go
Myrtle.
into the sewers. No, not the sewers, lab. What's it called? The caves. There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess the star dropper is at 120, right?
Yeah. Either that or 100. But there was one at 100 too.
I don't see it, so I must already got it.
No, I got mine in the sewers, which I'm not allowed to be at yet, so.
Oh, I know you can get one in the mines too.
I'm just gonna go into the mines now to find the thing. The frozen thingy.
Frozen things. Oh, I got the snow yam.
Yeah, you got it. That's what I wanted to find. So if you already got it, then.
Yeah, I got it. I just dug it up.
Nice. GG.
Wiggle, 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 worms.
That's the last one we need.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
What else do we need for the bulletin board? We need.
You need the ancient
berries.
doll or 10 salmon berries.
Right. Watch Mono finish the.
But your salmon berries are spring.
We'll have to do spring. But this is bridge repair. That's cool. So the other bridge gets fixed.
Yeah. We get a cutscene tonight.
We got some winter seeds.
So last sleepovers with the girls, because then I'll be an annoying husband.
I think having a husband's gonna stop me from sleeping with girls. It's not.
Oh shit, it's 5:30. Oh, I should go to bed.
If Mono
It's
had
time to
asked me
sleep,
when
huh?
she was here for a cuddle buddy, I probably would have crawled into bed with her and cuddled.
No. Aww.
There's nothing wrong with being good friends and having a cuddle party.
Let's see. Back to the house. What are we growing in the greenhouse?
Nothing.
Oh, we talked about making it the hops place so we could do ale.
Right?
We were growing hops, but we didn't think to make ale. I forget why we were growing it.
I don't know.
I think we just had to turn in the hops was the thing.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, I probably have hops in the fridge then. I do. I have 11. No, those are artichokes.
Gotta love when they all look the same.
Yeah, the artichoke and the hops look the same. Dang it. Oh.
Come to bed, Mono.
Yes, it's time to sleep.
Here,
Sleepy. Oh, you're in my bed. No! It looks like they're kissing.
Yeah.
Oh, the bridge is getting fixed.
So cute.
Oh, there's a couple little wiggle worms.
Wiggle worms.
I'm tired, ladies. Is that it for tonight? Or are we gonna push through the 3 days?
I mean, we could just go to bed again. And
I mean, we
get to the
can.
wedding.
We
Can we do
can.
that?
Yeah, are you wearing what you want to be wearing?
I think, wait, weren't we gonna get... Yeah, sure, black wedding.
I mean...
I'm not wearing white on mine.
Here.
Were you getting a dress? Or...
I can.
I was doing
There-
like a romper thing.
No, I mean, wait, in the game, and then tell me about
Oh yeah,
IRL.
I did it in the game, but like IRL, like I'm not wearing white.
No, but in the game, do you have to put it on?
You have to make sure that you're wearing it, if otherwise you're just wearing your regular clothes when you get there.
See what Mono has.
There's the dress. That's supposed to be the dress, and then I don't know.
You have a purple dress.
Let's see.
I don't have dress. I don't have simple dress, long dress. What is that?
You still have to wear a top with it though.
I guess it doesn't matter what top you wear then, because it doesn't really have a specific one. Toga shirt. It kinda looks like it. It says plain, but...
Wait, how do you
What
get
did you
this
draw?
color? I don't know, man. Why am I holding this?
Okay.
Wait, black.
Yeah, they probably have black ones.
If I just type shirt, I can't do color.
Yeah.
I think.
It just doesn't even look the same. It's not even the same shade. It could work though.
Kelp shirt? Let's see what you're wearing. Just trying to find...
I put stuff in the dresser that I was wearing, but you know, you don't necessarily have to wear the same thing. You can wear a bikini top.
True. I'm trying to find it.
Strapped top. Here's a strapped top. Maybe that goes with it.
corset kind of thing. I don't think they would have that though.
Kind of matches.
Look at us getting our
Right?
outfit together for the wedding.
There. I don't know. Just want to go back to wearing all pink now.
Trash can shirt. Sounds perfect. Let's see. We can wear this.
A wild Teddy Ursa. Okay.
Teddy Ursa.
Mm-hmm.
They're so cute.
You can wear skull bones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You pretty much had this
part, right?
Yeah, we got the same hair pretty much too, and the same hair clip.
Wait, I didn't look for hairstyle thingies. Maybe they have like how do you call that again? The veil. Yeah, they have one.
Yeah, they have.
They
one.
do?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's only
I wore a bow.
It's only a white though, but
yeah. Is it dyeable?
I wonder if you.
I don't know. Actually.
Oh, there's the bridal shirt. Good figure. Now we found it.
Looks like I have like a. It just looks like you have underwear on your head.
Yeah. I think that's why I chose to do a bow, because I didn't like the veil.
Yep. Let me it does, doesn't it? It looks
She's
like
gonna
underwear.
She's gonna rock the underwear on her head.
I found the perfect one for my outfit.
It's supposed to be a crown, Momo.
Oh no, it's too big. This is really big.
Hey, I called Teddy Ursa.
Look at this bow. Wait, can I just...
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Do it.
But it's huge. That's what she said.
So, is this not the right dress either then? Because it doesn't match the top.
Yeah.
As far as color.
Isn't there a flower for in your hair or something? A hat.
I feel like the simple dress probably is closer to the same color than the actual ruffly one. They're still both off colors from it. That makes no sense.
You could probably go to Emily's and dye it. I don't know what you can use to dye it white, though.
Wait, so there's a... You call it bow or cap or hat. There's a mushroom cap. That's cute.
Yeah.
What's another word? Oh, wait. I'm gonna put on this one. Oh, no.
I think I picked up your hair clip somehow. I had 2 of them in my inventory.
Yeah, then that's mine.
I put it in the dresser.
Thank you.
I guess I'm just gonna have off colors. Unless I wear the pink skirt. Don't I have a pink skirt?
Yeah, that's in there. The purple one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice day for a black wedding. You ready?
I mean, since my hair's that color.
Yeah, that's cute.
It's just the white one just doesn't match.
It does not. Did you take the long one or the...
Yeah.
We can. This is like the ladies' night just before.
Yeah, this is the bachelorette party. We're gonna sleep for 3 days.
Wait, we can drink some on it. I have some beers. You want a beer? Wait, I have a beer. Fuck.
Here,
Oh,
bachelor party.
oh, okay, let's drink. Cheers.
They're bachelor partying it up. Yeah. I'm back.
Thank you. Cheers. Why are you not getting drunk, Mono? Wait, what am I doing? Why am I the only one being drunk?
You're not. I'm changing all different colors.
Wait, oh, you can't see the other one being like that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you both can't see each other being like that. Cause I'm immune to it, Momo. That's it. I'm immune to it. I think you can get sick too. Or is that just the poison?
I don't know.
Mm.
No clue. Ooh, more beer. Gonna be so hungover.
Yeah, time for sleep.
Ooh.
I'm glowing in the bed.
Yeah. Look at us being happy and drunk. Will it just say that it's the day of the wedding? Oh, it does. Oh, it's yours.
Oh. Cat first arrived. So you can see mine?
I am seeing yours.
Yes.
Weird. And what if yours is next?
I hope so. Ooh, day 6 of winter. To unite Kat and Ellie.
First time I've been married to Elliot.
Ellie. As the mayor of Pelican Town and regional bearer of the Metro 2, I now pronounce you wife and husband.
Now what about Momo?
I know you're so kissy. I'm all the way in the back. You saw that?
Right? Yeah.
Life's going to be different from now on.
Mm-hmm.
But the future looks bright. Back-to-back weddings!
And Sebastian, y'all look so cute together.
That's cute.
The mayor's in the way. We can't even see your outfit.
I know, right? Like, step aside, motherfucker.
We're trying to take a photo here.
Momo, we have the same wedding date, Mono. Like true twins. Oh, now he steps back. Momo, Sebastian.
You still can't see. There you
No,
go.
I can see the skirt a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You may kiss. Now I can see. And I can't even take a print screen because my computer is fucking up. I got it. Finally.
I don't think I've seen two people get married on the same day before.
Nice.
I was hoping they would do like it together, like a dual wedding thing.
That would have been cool.
Oh, he's on my porch. Wedding was wonderful, wasn't it, dear? Oh god, he called me dear.
Oh, jeez.
This made me melt. You've plucked Pelican Town's finest flower. Now you must care for it with all your heart.
Aww.
Did
Did you know that Sam hates pickles?
Is that what he tells you after you got married?
Yeah, I mean, the same was the rest of you, but...
Yeah.
Oh, did he say the flower thing to you too? Did he call himself
no.
the
No,
delicate
Sebastian
flower?
tells you Sam doesn't like pickles.
Yeah, Elliot says you
He just
plucked
tells
the
you random
finest
shit
flower.
about his friends.
Wow.
Elliot's conceited.
You do be that way.
Oh, you can even get more. Oh wait, if you get more hearts, then you get the kids.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, get to work, hubby. Married you for something. We got married, man. We did it finally. Oh, and I have the sex dungeon. It just finished. No.
Momo!
Oh jeez, it's because I played
Whoa.
Dead by Daylight, and we call that the sex dungeon for fun because it has like 4 hooks in it, and then and it doesn't help that I saw a video today about an abandoned manor, and it still had stuff in it, but also some stuff that shouldn't be there that people left. So it was really weird. It was not clean and yeah, spooky. Random toys everywhere.
Now Clint wants me to give
Wait,
Emily an
Sebastian has
amethyst.
a little. Sebastian, they have a little nook. Go into your house.
Oh yeah.
He has a little man cave with his room, like an annex.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, go into your house.
Oh, yeah, the little nook. Mine has a little library.
Nice. That's so cute. Why is the floor different though?
You gotta put stuff up, I
I think you can change it.
Oh, nice.
You might be able to.
Mm-hmm. Probably have to check the catalog and see what you can do.
Finally got ourselves a hubby.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. Living the life. I want a divorce.
Oh no.
Well, since we're king and queen of the cat, what? How did I manage to put the chair on top of the table? What?
Oh, I can't change the decorate his area. Rude.
You can't?
And
You can't even...
I can't change the wallpaper on the floor.
Not the floor even? Oh, damn.
No.
Well, I guess that's what the dividers are for then. Fuck.
Night night. I'm crashing and can't stay up. Good night, turtle. Get some sleep.
Oh, yes, me turtle-san.
Night turtle.
Hi, Sam. What?
Virgo got ads as soon as he said that.
Gonna give him a pickle. No.
Cool. Is there an emote for that?
Don't think there is.
I could always make one. Except I don't know where my laptop is, so sad.
Tickle my pickle.
Let's see.
It's a song.
Oh my god.
Don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Ooh, I love this bed too. Where can I have this bed?
Oh yeah, didn't I? Did I get a new bed? Maybe not. That's probably my other file.
Why can't I suddenly put this here? What bullshit is this?
I'm gonna put your little creepy statue in Elliot's room for inspiration.
Wait, you can now?
Oh yeah, you can add things. You just can't like change
Mm-hmm.
wallpaper and stuff.
I guess you can get those dividers, Mono.
Yeah. I just wanted to change the floor. I wanted to change the floor color out in the cellar too, and it wouldn't let me.
Rude.
They do have wine though. Elliot's favorite thing.
These are a few of his favorite things.
It's not his favorite thing, but yeah. He does like it.
When the dog bites, when the fish. When the feelings.
And there. A wild Excalibur. I'm pretty sure I don't have that one.
Escavalier. That was hard.
Words are hard.
Brain did not like that.
I
Where'd
can't
Elliot
pick up
go?
the rug anymore that I have in my home.
Oh, that's weird.
There he is. He's trying to figure out where he's at. He looks dazed and confused.
Sorry, my life.
Right? He's like, this is my house. What have I got myself into?
Yeah, he's gotta live on a whole farm with us who are Mormons. It's fine.
There. I put him a yellow sofa in his room. He can have a Junimo too in his reading nook.
How nice of you.
It'll stay.
Little Junimo.
Oh, it won't go on the red rug. Oh, the red rug must move. No, it doesn't. Weird.
Yeah,
Can't
that's what
place
I had
the...
earlier with a blue rug. It's weird when sometimes it doesn't fit on stuff.
I can sit on the stool.
Let's see, where were those dividey thingies? Was it the regular one? Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
He really does look lost and confused. I feel bad for the man. Like, there's a whole tree in this house.
I don't know where those partitions are. I forgot where I saw them. Anyone remember?
No.
Booked.
I'm trying to remember what partitions you're talking about.
Ah, for the house, so you can make it like it looks like a different room.
Yeah, they're like little floor decorations that you
I
put
found
in
it.
that separates them.
It's in the. It's on the big square table thing. You have like floor dividers.
Oh no. I just found my girlfriend. I wonder how she feels about my marriage.
What?
My
Oh yeah,
cactus
your
girlfriend.
cactus girlfriend. forgot about your cactus girlfriend.
She's just gonna stare at us.
Put her in the same room with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the catalog could go in there. That kind of makes sense. And then put the, like, bunny in the kids' room. Oh yeah, you get to take care of my girlfriend. Be like, what are you even talking about? Yeah. No, he went to bed. He did not like that.
No.
You know, maybe I'll put the light back here. Junimo hut. Okay, so the bed can be centered, but the Junimo hut cannot. I don't even know how I centered the bed, to be honest.
I don't either. Can't help you with that one.
I mean, look at that. I didn't think you could center the bed, but apparently you can.
It's not really centered though.
You can't even see him sleeping in this bed, like he's invisible.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pierre hates Jojo.
The top of his head.
I like the name. Okay, we're gonna put the Junimo head back. Oh my god, there's evil. I don't know. Let's go back to the bedroom for now until I figure out what the heck to do with it. Even though it's not centered. It's like in the cat tower over here in a little lamp. And then maybe we'll put Junimo hut over there. There we go. It's time to sleep.
Getting late.
Oh, there's a heart on the calendar for today. What day is it? It's a heart day.
It's the 6th of winter?
Yeah, but look at the top on the calendar. There's a little red heart.
Oh, I thought you meant the calendar.
I wonder if it shows that like next year on this day, here, like your.
Yeah,
That would be cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit! It's time for bed.
She should change clothes, but she didn't. And thank you for the follow up here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it.
This is my last night though. I really need to get sleep. It's 6 a.m.
Yeah, me too. I'm sleepy. I started decorating my house though. I don't know what you would call it, but I did.
Same.
Out of practice, but I plan on entering the fishing contest tomorrow. You've got some stiff competition, dear. Oh, next time we play, Rain, it's gonna be fishing.
Fuck yeah! Oh no, I'm the expert fisher here.
I jumped out of the game anyway.
That's fine. Yeah. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Appreciate y'all. I will catch you guys Friday when I stream again. So, well, we're probably gonna just do some marbles and chill on Friday. So, I will see you guys then. Get some sleep, everyone. And I will talk to you next time. Say goodnight, ladies.